Okay, let's get started. I am Dr. William Bloch. I currently teach at Mahidol University International College. I have been instructing medical English for quite a few years at Sirirat Faculty of Medicine and also Racha Witty for quite a few years. So, due to scheduling constraints, I can't be there live. So I'm recording this video for you. A lot of information to get through. Some of it you'll find interactive and interesting, and perhaps some of it maybe not so much, but I'll do everything in my power to make this as useful as possible. There will be 3 additional 1-hour lessons and some resources that I've made available for you in the meantime. So let's get started, and I'll share a few things. Perhaps we could start out with a little bit about my background. Yeah. Okay, let's try this one. I'll do everything I can to make this clear. Here's my resume. I don't think that's of much value to you. My diploma from the University of Pennsylvania School of Dental Medicine. So my background is in dentistry. I'm a health professional, not a medical doctor. So don't take my advice for any medical treatment. We'll talk about some issues in medicine and make this as valuable as possible for you. Now, we do have subtitles coming up, so I think that will support you in getting value from this. And I hope the window doesn't interfere with what's on the screen. That's my degree, Doctor of Dental Medicine. Let's get started and take a look at what I've shared with you. And I'm going to overview this. And it's got about 20 pages. We'll not be able to do all of this today, but there's lots of useful info. We'll cover some of this next time. Some of it could be utilized on your own. And there we go. So I'll also share some resources with you. And let's find the link for the resources. All right, this is a Word document. Let's see if we can get that up there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got a lot of links here. I've created a custom GPT for you to use that can give you some advice on English. It's connected to this PDF that I'm sharing with you, so bear with me. There's 2 actual resources. We'll get into it if we can today or maybe next time, but it can be utilized by you or self-study, and it should be almost self-explanatory. Give it a try. These links work, and some self-study resources connected to what we're doing today. Medical research. This tool is extremely valuable. I'll apologize in advance if there's anything that you know very, very well without. I don't claim to be on the cutting edge of all of this, but there are some extremely useful resources. And we'll get into consensus and doing medical research. Okay. We'll get into that in just a bit. Let's go to back to our PDF document and get started with this one. All right. Now, this looks like something that you might think is not valuable. We know how to do this. Okay. So I'm not claiming that you don't know how to do this, but I will say this. If you translate these 10 sentences from Thai to English, I believe that I, as a foreigner and a native speaker of English, will easily be able to understand what you're saying or writing. However, written English is a challenge for many of us that are not overly trained to do a lot of writing. And so there's a large class of medical residents here, and some are going to be great at writing, and some might need some improvement. The purpose of this is to take a look at ways that we could improve our writing. So if you take some time to, even a short amount of time, to translate these phrases and sentences from Thai into English, you will get some value in understanding a little bit more about accurate grammatical English. And so we take a look at the first one, and I can look at examples from the past that do have some mistakes in translating this from Thai to English with accurate grammar usage. I'll use the word perfect. We don't need to worry about perfect. Should be understood that we could translate to English and there may be several acceptable answers. This first one is in English. Are you allergic to any medication? However, some students might miss that. Here's an example that I'm looking at that is real. Do you have any medication allergy? Okay, now we're going to go to the links. You can do this for self-study. You could also write a short essay. Let's take a look, and I'm going to share this with you. Okay, sorry for that delay. Here we go. Now we got two threads open. I've shared the links to these threads. And so let's take a look at this one here. This one is going to be Thai to English clinical writing practice, 10 Thai sentences. And here's some examples of mistakes that could be corrected. A student, for example, medical resident first year, might type in, do you have drug addicted? And that's not a real example, but it will, this GPT that I've custom created will offer some recommendations. So let's do this live and see if we could get some useful advice. So this one is, and I'm not great with Thai language. I could read it, but I know what it means. Do you, okay, do should not be capitalized. Do you have any medication allergy? And there's a space before the question mark. I'm going to enter that and see if it will respond. And it should be able to do this too. Nice. Okay. Yeah, there's the actual Thai phrase. Do you have any medication allergy? The meaning is clear. And this cannot be emphasized enough that all of you have the basics in English to communicate effectively with your patient. Patients in Thailand, whatever country they are, but if they're not Thai and using another language, English is going to be the most common language. That said, not every foreigner is going to speak English. And of course, we got people from other countries, including Asian countries, that may not speak English or Thai. But let's focus on medical English. here. But from a foreigner's perspective, I've lived in Thailand many years and all, but I've got to believe that all foreigners care about the doctor's proficiency at practicing medicine and delivering effective medical care, not English proficiency. So you have the talent. Don't think too much. Don't worry. Don't panic. You got the English covered. And so we'll take a look at some issues, but nobody cares if your English is not perfect. Even in my country, the USA, there are some who are not native speakers of English that may not be great at some skills with English, but may be very good doctors. All right, let's take a look at what it did. Do you have any medication allergy? And here we go. The meaning's clear, but it indicates a mistake. Grammar, plural. Allergies, not allergy. Natural English. Are you allergic to any medication? And if it caught this, there should never be a space before punctuation. And so it removed that little space, typing error or whatever. We don't do that. Are you allergic to any medication? Yeah, that's great. Allergy, noun. Allergic is an adjective. Okay, and I believe to continue, they would like you to log in for a free ChatGPT account. It doesn't cost any money. I don't make any money from this. So I recommend you create an account. You can do this too. All right. We're going to move on from that. But that's something that you can do for any purpose, even if you're composing an email or whatever. And I'm sure many of you are very, very good with this. Let's take a look at our other example. Oh, there's some resources. All right, I'm not going to do this right now. We've got a lot to get through. So let us take a look at, let's go back. All right, let's get started. I am Dr. William Bloch. I teach at MUIC University International College. My background is in dental medicine. So yeah, I am a health professional. My background, my specialty is dental medicine. I'm not currently practicing in Thailand. I'm teaching at MUIC University International College. That said, I've taught medical English at Ratchawiti and also Sirirat Hospital Faculty of Medicine for many years. So we've got a lot to get into. And let's talk about how you could improve your English skills and critical thinking skills. So let's get into it. I'm going to share with you an overview of what we're doing right now. All right. I've shared this PDF with you, and there's a lot of information in there. We'll not be able to cover the entire thing right now, but let's enjoy and have fun with this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this. However, page 1. It looks pretty simple. However, okay, this is clinical use of English, doctor, patient, dialogues, interviews, etc. So we'll play a little tape of a typical interview with a patient. But right now, let's take a look at what we could gain from this. The instructions are read the Thai version and translate into English using complete sentence with correct grammar. So all of you can easily translate these from Thai to English and write it in English in an effective way, but doing it grammatically and doing it accurately is not all that easy. I know because I've been using this for years just to check English writing proficiency among first year medical residents. In my hands is an example of one that's done very well, but it's not perfect. Okay, when you take a look at phrase number 1, this student has written, "Do you have any medication allergies?" Excuse me, allergy, question mark. Very well done. However, for spoken English, it's just fine. Yet for written, it lacks, there are some grammar issues. So let's see if we could. All right, here we go. This GPT I've created, and I've put a link in the Word document, can be used to check your translation and offer you advice on how to improve. Okay, here's another link. I'll get into it right now while I'm at it. And you're invited to create an account with Dropbox, but I believe that you can access these useful self-study multimedia resources without creating a Dropbox account. Click on IELTS and you'll see 3 IELTS listening example videos. With high quality audio, you can improve your English listening skills by using these resources. TOEIC, a little bit easier than IELTS and TOEFL. We've got some resources right there. It's got about 100 questions. The first questions are very simple. You should be able to get them all correct related to images. TOEFL is challenging, and there's a really good example TOEFL exam. There are many, many resources available, and one of the best places obviously would be YouTube. So English in Medicine. This is an audio file that has all the audio related to all the tasks in that useful English in Medicine book. Reading, okay, I've shared some actual readings that could be used to improve your reading skills. Writing. This book has a lot of details about grammar and all for specific issues. I don't recommend it because ChatGPT can do all of this and specifically work with you to address specific writing issues. So if you enter in all right, let's try this. Do you take medicine regularly? Regularity. All right, there's a few spelling and grammar mistakes here. And let's see what it does with this one. All right. It's good we can understand what you're saying, but to correct it in English needs a little bit of work. Absolutely understood. Grammar, verb, take, not taken, regularly, not regularity, take medicine, not, yeah, question mark is fine. Yeah, here's the corrected version with a lot of feedback. Are you currently taking any medications regularly? All right, this is really well done. This is trained for you to assist you, and the links are available in the Word document that I've shared with you. There's more, but I don't want to spend time on that. Let us take a look at the document that has these links. Yeah, it's right there. I'll share that. It should already be shared with you. These are really useful links. Let's go through them. ChatGPT and another ChatGPT that could be used as an example for page 2, writing a short essay. What makes a good doctor? You could actually write this if you want to improve your English, submit it, and ChatGPT will work with you. Now, it will correct your English, but it's best used to teach and correct rather than simply writing it for you. You'll certainly gain more if you can do it in that order. All right. Self-study resources, I just showed them to you. If you click on this link, you'll get some access to useful resources, especially IELTS, TOEFL, and TOEIC. Check it out for self-study that you can do on your own. Medical research, we'll talk about that, and we'll take a look at some example research. In fact, let's go there right now and see if this will open. All right. I just did this consensus app. So many questions that could be put forth to consensus app. The link is there. You can create an account for free. It does have its limits unless you want to pay for it. However, I believe that moderate use, you can get some very good results. Here's just a query that I thought about. Take a look at some current research being done at the Faculty of Medicine, MUIC. Now, I have not spent any time going over this, so it may well be extremely accurate, or who knows, AI sometimes will miss, but it does highlight, it does some incredible research, very quick at it too. It took just a minute or two to come up with all of this research currently being done, and then links are here. Let's see if they work. Connecting to, I'm going to see if I could get more space on the screen by stopping closed captions. Yeah, that is a little bit better. Long list of research being done at MUIC. See if these PDFs will open. Yeah, studies related to trauma and emergency medicine. You can see these are not done at MUIC, but there are a host of interesting issues in this particular specialty. Many interesting aspects of it that could be useful for you doing research during your residency. And I'm sure all of us have a research project that we are working on. Things are changing rapidly. So I do recommend Consensus app. The link is in the Word document. All right, let's go back to our document and continue. We got a lot to get into, so let's keep it rolling. Again, if you go to ChatGPT, the GPT that I've created, and use the links, you can get some correction and some advice on improving your writing. How to use Consensus. There's info right there. Click on the link in the Microsoft Word document. Now let's get into some interesting aspects of English, spoken English. Homographs. Homographs? Let's discover what they are. Take a look and read these to yourself, or even you could speak out loud. If you take a look at that, oh yeah, I can speak English. Well, this is a little bit of a fun test of some of the quirks, some of the interesting aspects to English. I got the subtitles turned off because the accuracy may not be all that great. So let's listen up and see how we do on this one. If you try to pronounce this one, you may make some mistakes. This is somewhat unusual, but a homograph, well, let's discover what it is. One, the bandage was WOUND around the WOU. What does that mean? Okay, the bandage was wound around the wound. Same spelling, different part of speech, different meaning, and different pronunciation. Two, the farm was used to what? Produce. No, it's produce. Emphasis on the first syllable, stress on the first syllable. Here on the second one, it's produce. It's fresh fruits and vegetables. This is a verb, to create, to produce. This is a noun. Three, the dump was so full that it had to refuse more. What? That's the same spelling, different meaning, different part of speech. It's pronounced refuse. Stress on the first syllable. It means garbage. So a dump is a place to throw garbage. All right, let's finish with this. We must polish the Polish furniture. Polish, verb, to make it shiny, the surface. Polish, capitalized, referring to something produced, or adjective related to the country Poland. More fun with these. We can get into them if anyone has any questions or comments. Now let's move on to word stress. 3 ways to pronounce these words in English. Examples, and these are 3-syllable words. A, B, C. A, the emphasis is on the first, not the emphasis, stress, first syllable. A, cardiac. B, examine. C, premature. Stress on the third syllable, stress on the second syllable, stress on the first syllable. Let's read these and see if we can accurately Identify whether they are A, B, or C stress patterns. Take a look at that word, admitted. Stress is on the second syllable, admitted. Next one, hospital. A, stress on the first syllable. Next highlighted word, improvement. It's improvement, stress on the second syllable. Condition, stress on the second syllable, condition. Develop, stress on the second syllable, develop. Recommend, stress on the third syllable, recommend. That's C, pattern C. Regular, it's on the first syllable, pronounced regular. Same with exercise, first syllable. Alcohol, first syllable. Minimum, first syllable. Injection, it's B, injection. Hemorrhage, stress on the first syllable, A. Operate, that's A. Equipment, that's B, equipment. Theater, that's A. Allergic, that's B. Stress on the second syllable, allergic. Reaction, B. Reaction, second syllable. Reassure, that's C, third syllable. Reassure. This one is spelled P-R-E, but it's pronounced as if it was spelled P-E-R, and that is B. Prescription. Painkillers, that's A. Incomplete. What is it? That's C. Positive, A. Infection, B. Opinion, not opinion, opinion, B. Medical, A. History, A. And that is word stress. Can't memorize it, need to use English and get used to it. Pronunciation, past tense. Verbs in the past tense, in the present tense. All right, verbs in the present tense. Add an S in the third person singular. I work, you work, he, she, or it works. But three different pronunciations. Many aspects to accurate pronunciation in English, and here is another example. We just looked at word stress. Now we're looking at final sounds. Three patterns. A, example, treats. B, example, heals. It's a Z, Z, Z sound. And C, pronounced as if it was is. It changes. It changes. That's C. All right, let's continue. One, the patient breathes. that is. All right, let's get into it. The patient breathes. That's B. With difficulty and coughs. A, coughs. And sneezes. Final sounds B, A, and C. This drug helps. I think we all know this, but we can make mistakes easily. The difference is sometimes subtle. It's easy to make pronunciation mistakes with some of these final sounds. Let's take a look at the next one. Sentence 2 is reduces. So that's C. Not reduces, it's reduces. 3. A person who's resistant is low. Catch is, that's C. Diseases more easily. 4. When someone panics, that's A. The S sound. His heart beats more rapidly and his temperature rises. After the laboratory analyzes the blood sample, the doctor examines the results and diagnoses is, that's C, the condition. He then recommends, that's B, and prescribes any necessary drugs. This drug relaxes the muscles and relieves, that's B, pain. This gland releases, that's C, and well, let's go back to 7 or 6. He recommends, that's B, and prescribes B. We just did that. This drug relaxes, number 7, that's C, and relieves B, pain. This gland releases C, hormones into the blood stream. 9, the patient now sleeps A, well, and wakes, feeling refreshed. She suffers, that's B, constant pain and only controls, that's B, it using morphine. This treatment, A, it's counteracts. It's a procedure which cures, that's B, and or kills B, the patient. If the surgeon operates, that's A. Now, the chance of success increases to about 50%. 14, the sinoatrial node regulates the heartbeat, and that is pronunciation in the present tense. All right, page 13. Listen to this description. Let's test our listening skills. Identify the condition, disease. This is diagnosis, listening skills. 7, a serious bacterial disease spread through infected food or water. The infected person suffers stomach cramps, diarrhea, cramp in the intestines, and dehydration. The disease is often fatal, and vaccination is only effective for a relatively short period. What's your answer? Cholera. Pronunciation, cholera. Here's what it looks like, 7. But don't look at that because you need to practice listening skills. Number 8, a serious infectious disease of children. First symptoms are sore throat, followed by slight fever, rapid pulse, swelling of the glands in the neck. A membrane-like structure forms in the throat and can close the air passages, asphyxiating the patient. The disease is often fatal. For this reason, or because the heart becomes fatally weakened. What is the condition? It's referred to as diphtheria, diphtheria, diphtheria. Let's continue. 9, a disorder of the brain, mainly due to brain damage occurring before birth or due to lack of oxygen during birth. The patient may have had coordination of muscular movements, impaired speech, hearing, and sight, and sometimes mental retardation. Number 9, cerebral palsy. Now, it's much easier if you're reading this, but this is a listening skill, and that is what I just read. Let's finish with number 10 and 11, a virus disease. It can take a long time, even years, for it to show symptoms. It causes a breakdown of the body's immune system, making the patient susceptible to any infection. And it's still, after all of these years, first, it was found in the 1980s. Scientists have been working on curing it and finding a vaccine for it and have been unsuccessful. Still a danger. We're talking about HIV/AIDS. Number 11, inflammation of the membranes lining the intestines and stomach, caused by a viral infection resulting in diarrhea and vomiting. We can get it from symptom and fermented fish. Gastroenteritis. All right. There's a few that we haven't done there, but it's good practice, listening skills, and now we're just reading it, but we should know all of this. All right, let's get into IELTS. I'm going to play a section of an IELTS practice exam and let us see how well we can do. You can use this to check out your listening skills. Now, we're not going to play the entire one, but this is a resource that I've shared with you in the resources. And so, and they're on YouTube, a lot of them. But this is high-level practice for listening. And let's go and play the video and make sure our sound is very good listening practice. IELTS, many resources available. Right, let's see if we can get into this one. Matching. Take a minute now to match up the adjectives in the box and the correct sentences. This is page 11. Then we'll talk about pronunciation. All right, adjectives. 1. This is a, choose the correct adjective to complete the sentence. Safe painkiller with no harmful side effects. 2, some mushrooms are good to eat and some are poisonous. The donor's blood must be compatible with the patient's. The surgeon decided that the cancer had become inoperable. Inoperable. 5, left-handed patients. Left-handed patients. People need special scissors. 6, the body has an inborn, synonym innate, tendency to resist transplanted organs. 7, the hospital has inadequate staff to deal with major accidents. Not enough, inadequate, not satisfactory. The serum makes the poison inactive. 9, people in sedentary occupations are liable to have digestive problems. Sedentary, sedentary, sedentary. Old people can easily become confused if they are moved from their homes. Synonym, disoriented. Catatonic patients can sit motionless for hours. 12, don't touch food with dirty hands. It isn't hygienic. Synonym would be sanitary, but not insanitary. Hygienic is the correct answer. Number 13, all members of the family are predisposed to vascular diseases. 14, oranges are sweet, but quinine is bitter. The bones of a baby's skull are very, what's the best answer? Delicate. Cholera spread rapidly because of insanitary conditions in the town or unsanitary American English. She is very highly strung, reactive. So don't make comments about her appearance. 18, are his qualifications recognized, pronunciation recognized in Great Britain? He drank 6 glasses of whiskey and became completely intoxicated. Number 20, he became hoarse after shouting too much. Sounds like the animal. It's spelled Hoarse, horse, right there. All right, let's continue. All right, some word stress here. This is page 8. Take a look at these 3 models of 4-syllable words, 3 different ways to pronounce them with word stress. That's stress on the syllables here. So let's go through this. And the sentences, we'll not spend time on that. We'll just look on the box on the right. And first one is anesthetic. Yeah, it's given. It is on the 3rd syllable. Stress. Oh, let's go back to the models. A, stress on the 1st syllable. Vaccinated. B, 2nd syllable. Pneumonia. C, influenza. That's 3. And none of these have stress on the 4th syllable. Although sometime we might do it in Thai English, but it's not complication. We'll get into it. Analysis is B. Analysis, second syllable. Excuse me, two. It's 1, 2, 3. Circulation. Okay. It is third syllable. Circulation. Circulation. Communicate is 2. Communicate, second syllable. Compatible, second syllable. Complication, third syllable, not the fourth syllable. Coordinate, that's 2. Coordinate, second, stress on the second syllable. Dehydration, that's 3. Demonstrated, 1. Demonstrated. We can make mistakes in stress and still communicate, but when everything's not so solid, misunderstanding can occur. 10. Disposable. Stress on the second syllable. Disposable, right there. 3. Emergency. That's 2. Experiment. That's 3. Independent. Experiment is 2. Independent is 3. Intolerance, 2. Malignancy, 2. Operation, 3. Operation, that's 3. Paralysis, 2. Penicillin, 3. Respirator, 1. Responsible, 2. Saturated, 3. And that is another example of word stress. Let's move on. Let's take a look at some other resources here. Okay, we got some other interesting info. And let's take a look at some basic, taking a history from the book, English and Medicine. Let's listen to the soundtrack. We have a doctor and a patient, an interview. Complete the present complaints section. Let's just break it down and listen. Let me double check my sound. There's a useful conversation, an interview between a doctor and a patient. We can see what's going on there. And a little language review starts the interview with something like this. There are many ways to do this. What's brought you along today? How can I help you? What seems to be the problem? Never, ever. What's your chief complaint? We don't use medical English with a patient. It just sounds awkward. What can I do for you? What seems to be the problem? How can I help you? How long has this lasted? How long has this been bothering you? How long have you had them? Headaches, plural. All right. Some other language focus. Which part of your head is affected? Where does it hurt? Where is it sore? Can you describe the pain? Very good open-ended question. Other ways to ask, what's the pain like? What kind of pain is it? Et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's continue and finish up with more dialogue. And let's play this short conversation. All right, we see some interesting conversations between doctor and patient with natural English. Now, there's some other interesting things we could do, but I think we're out of time right now. So let's review our resources. And let me share that with you. All right, yeah, we could check our blood pressure. All right, I've shared some links with you. You can practice your English writing with these links. ChatGPT, customized for you. Self-study resources, IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, consensus for medical research. Extremely useful. All right. There may be some updates before our next session. Thank you so much for participating. Check out the resources, and we'll see you next time.